It's the Abba Podcast. Let's go. And the next guest on the podcast, we're blessed with the presence of brother Haj Wassim. Salamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
How's things, my brother?
Alhamdulillah. How are you, Abbas?
Alhamdulillah, not too bad, man. We're breaking some big news today, mate. Big project. What have you been working on?
For the last 6-7 months, I've been writing a book. It's called The Miracle of Ramadan. I don't know how I got into that. That's something that I would never have imagined doing. I started off with an idea, watching the Muppets Christmas Carol with my daughter, and it was just a fun movie on Disney about Ebenezer Scrooge, and he goes through a journey. And I just got some ideas, and I just started writing.
So you're in a J.K. Rowling, mate. Something happened, eh? It was a catalyst.
It was amazing. Like I swear to you, I could, when I was in high school and even through university and stuff, my biggest weakness was always, writing essays and writing reports and things like that. Now I'm a teacher, and to be honest, some of the students' works will be much better than anything I could ever produce. And it gives you joy to see that. But now that I've written a book, I must admit it's quite amazing. I can't believe I've done this with so many people's help, of course.
No, God bless you. We're going to get to that, and the people are going to get to know a bit more about you and how you come to write the miracles of Ramadan and the holy month of Ramadan, and what the essence is in the book and what it means to you and all that came about it. But you told us you're in a J.K. Rowling, so you're watching a TV show with the young one, and this is something good for the viewers to listen to, because inspiration comes in many ways, and that was yours.
That's it. It was just, as I said, it was Muppets Christmas Carol. Watched it. Actually, the next day I woke up in the morning and I said, you know what, I'm going to start writing a script for a movie. So I went and downloaded the script online. I found it and I just changed it and I started doing it my own way. And I said, who am I kidding? I'm not a writer, a movie writer or anything like that. So I got on the phone. I called up, many different book publishers, and a lovely man by the name of Richard McRoberts. He lives in Melbourne. He answered the first person I called, and he answered, and I told him my idea, and he fell in love with it. And we spoke every day, basically for 4 or 5 months, writing this book. He mentored me along the way. He basically edited my book as I went along the way, because you'll see a Charles Dickens style book. So definitely got a lot of help from Richard in regards to how to write a book and things like that. And at the end of the day, I can't believe what it ended up, the end result. It's unbelievable.
No, alhamdulillah. And honestly, it's something to, you should be proud of and pat yourself on the back, because you went out there to do something you yourself didn't believe in. Talk to us about the process of self-belief. Now, you are a teacher, you're an educator, you're inspiring the youth, and you've also played football at a really high level as well. So your name resonates with many in that sense. But you've now cultivated and you've come into a field that's totally different to what anyone would have expected. Tell us where the self-belief came first, and second, where did it come that you're going to back yourself and you're going to take this project on?
When it comes to self-belief, definitely one of the things that probably I always, struggle with in regards to that area, So, but one thing I always do is in soccer, all the boys that I ever played with know before the game, I will say, let's put a good, honest shift in, boys. Let's try our best. And that's what I did here. I said, I'm just going to try my best. And, after that, it's in Allah, with Allah, and whatever happens, happens. And I'm telling you, I can't believe what happened from this, I got a publisher to publish it. Like, if you know the book world, getting some people write for years and they don't get anyone to publish it. And I got a great company by the name of Lantern. They loved the idea and they jumped on board as well. And they published my book, and they helped with the beautiful pictures. As you can see in the background there, the pictures in the book, there's 5 of the best pictures you'll see by a lady named Layla Kamarinjad from Iran. So I'll take you guys on initially we had someone from DC Comics ready to draw the pictures. Richard hooked me up with them, and they were going to draw the pictures. They also loved the idea. But once I saw Layla's pictures, I put the DC comic guy, to the back burner, and we got Layla, and her work is unbelievable. Yeah. So
God bless you, bro. It's inspiring. I'm telling you, it feels like a bit of a Hogwarts mystical scene and vibe. And I've read the book myself, so I understand the context of what you've captured in that. And it's something that will resonate with the readers and people that get a hold of the book. And something I want to praise you on, especially considering that I've ventured off in something similar in a way where I've put myself out there as a brand. You really got to put yourself out there. And it's something now that you show, and, with the book, your students and everywhere else you interact, that if you instill self-belief and your intention is pure enough that your actions can speak for what your intentions are, you can create something no matter what it is. Because a lot of people don't die. They die not trying. And you've went the other way and you've like, you know what? Going to give it a crack. They believed in me and the sky's the limit.
First of all, like, I commend you and all your works that you're doing right now. I always message you and tell you the amazing works you're doing. And you should be very proud of yourself as well, bro. Like, you're getting completely out of the norm and you're doing something completely different. At the beginning, it was something to me when I was watching the first couple of podcasts, I was like, what's this? We've got Abba's doing podcasts. And if I remember, they were very religious podcasts initially. You're doing it like maybe for the Arabian and with sheikhs and stuff like that. And you're still doing that, of course, along the way, but you're also doing a lot of sporting things, a lot of community members and things like that. And I think it's excellent, man. You've done Zarafa, Mundine, Hussein Akil, Nader Hamdan, the sheikhs. I remember in the early days, and, I'm honored to be on your podcast.
No, look, the podcast is the platform for people like yourselves that are doing things that are productive, proactive. You're out there, you're reaching, and you're showing people the sky's your limit. Broaden your horizon, be creative, back yourself, because these are things that are in theory might be told, but nobody actions it. It's almost on the backburn. And it's only until someone like yourself puts himself out there, puts himself, you're the author of the book. When you buy the book, you'll see the Miracles of Ramadan. Wassim Hijazi is the author. Something that we never would have had or access to one of our own doing such a thing. So the honor and the pleasure is on me having you, because you've done something nobody's gone out there to do. And it's our responsibility now to help one another to get this out there, because we've got to inspire the next generation to tap into that creative side and do something different, because there's a lot of setback and there's a lot of times that you would have doubted yourself. Talk to us about that time, because was there a time along the line you're like, what am I doing?
Of course. Like, well, when I was writing the book with Richard, and, at the end of the day, there was no publisher. So I'm just writing a book. And of course, Richard is helping me. He's a famous writer. He's written about 100 books, and he loved the idea like this. He was absolutely buzzing. He was loving it. I also had some focus groups where each chapter I would write, I would get, 10 of my students at different ages, read it to them. And I had some adults who were also a focus group. And honestly, the whole way I was like, these guys are being nice to me. They're just saying it's a good book because it's Waza, let's just be nice to him, etc. But, as it kept going, I started gaining more and more belief in it. I guess the only thing I feel nervous about is, telling someone buy my book. Like, I've never asked someone to buy something or kind of, as you said, get out there, and, kind of, advertise my own book. But, it's part of the journey, and I've got to go with it now. And, come on podcasts and advertise the book on social media and stuff like that. We're doing some launches. You'll be there, inshallah, for the book. A couple of events that are sold out and things like that. So, inshallah, I'm very proud. And I'll be honest, Abbas, I posted something on social media last week with the book cover and just a couple of words about the book. And you know what? Sometimes we really like underestimate how strong our community is. Like, I'm telling you, from that one post, like hundreds of messages came, like everyone like got behind it. And even like you walk down to the streets to go get, like you go to Zanies or whatever it is, you see at the park, everyone just coming. Like, what a beautiful, like, you forget how beautiful our community is sometimes. We get stuck in the real world, and, inshallah, this book goes all the way to Hollywood, and, Aunt Cliff has a movie in Hollywood, so that's the goal.
100%, man. You got to think big. And like I said, something that's beautiful about community, like you mentioned, is that they get behind one another, because you got to think of it this way. You're the first person to do such a thing. Now, I recall when I started the podcast, I was going to the shops and, mate, I just wanted to go to the plaza and come home. And I was getting stopped. I'm like, bro, like, oh, you want to have a chat? No worries, let's have a chat. They were mesmerized. They're like, how are you talking to Buzz Rothfield? How do you get Shane Flanagan? How do you get all these pundits that we watch on TV? Like, are you paying? What's the secret? I'm like, man, you just put yourself out there. You be a nice, fair income bloke. You don't oversell yourself. You be who you are. Keep it real. If they want to come on, they come on. They don't want to come on, it's fair play. You don't have to come on. But like something that resonates with your story, you put yourself out there. You went to the publisher. You're like, I've got an idea. I've backed myself here. Many people are too afraid to take that step and put themselves out there because for some reason they're afraid of failure or the shame or just a stigma or I don't know what it is. They limit themselves. And it's until you and people like yourself put themselves out there that people then believe. Then they start to feel that we can do such things and we can achieve such greatness. Because now what you're doing is you're resonating. You're not trying to sell something, nor are you begging someone to buy the book. You've put a brand, you've put a product there. And now it's if you want to learn, if you want to grow, come and look what I did. Be inspired because the journey from the characters, I know it's a novel, but there's a lot of lessons that you can draw from this story because we're talking about the miracle of Shahr Ramadan here, the holiest month of the Islamic calendar, which has the best nights in it, which has the most barakah, that is greater than 1,000 months. So we're talking about 84 years in 1 month. And you've capsulated that in a book and you've told the story. So it's more than selling a product. You're giving a life lesson that is of the greatest magnitude. And that's something that you need to pat yourself on the back.
Thank you, Abbas. Sometimes the message of the book is, it's a simple message. It's about never giving up on God. It's about, always loving and caring for your community, caring for the people in your community. And I think that sort of message is from young to old. We all love that sort of message. And, as you know, the book, is a great read. It's about a man who had lost his way. Basically, Ramadan comes along and he turns away from God. He loves his money and really nothing else at this point. But we don't know what's wrong with this man. We don't know why he's like this. We don't know nothing about it. And it takes you to his past and we see what happened in his past. And I don't want to wreck it too much.
Yeah, so what I loved about it, sorry to Kaya, what I loved about it is that the real lessons that can be drawn from that, because how easy is it to be lost in society and you get a bit of success and you go beyond yourself and then you become a snobby person. Or you do well in football. You've been around a lot of footballing circles. You're in the NPL system for a long time. How many players have you seen that felt like they could take on the world and you're playing bloody at the lowest of levels? You're like, humble yourself here because you can't even hang with me, so to say.
Yeah. Now, of course, it's just like in life, sometimes you get the best players and they're the most humble people. And then, sometimes it's the opposite. So just like life, football is like that, definitely, and life is like that too. You work with different people. Some of them are the most humble people, lovely people, and some of them are difficult to be with. But you learn as you get older to, deal with all kinds and all different people. So
100%. Was that a mission of yours to capture that in the book? Because I felt like it's something that, yes, it's a novel like I mentioned, but I feel like there's a side of it where there's a lot of life lessons and there's a lot of, even like the religious component of it, Shahr Ramadan. The beauty of how you played on that idea is something to be commended, because I don't recall a novel that I've ever read that has anything like that.
Yeah, look, I'll give you guys, the listeners here, a quick rundown of the book. It's a 1 minute rundown, so it doesn't wreck it for you guys. So basically, it's about a man called Karim. He's a cold, greedy man, and the coming of Ramadan doesn't wake in him any thoughts of compassion. He's basically turned away from God. He loves his money and nothing else. Then he's visited by 3 angels. The first shows him his past and the good man he once was. The book goes into detail and takes you to the past, and it shows you all the things. He was a good man and all the things that led him to turn away from God. There's a beautiful scene in the book where he's basically, speaking to one of the angels and they're having a bit of an argument or whatever. And he says to the angel, I didn't turn away from God. God turned away from me. And when people get into despair, they get into these times in their life where it's so tough, they may feel like that. But it doesn't mean we turn our backs on those people as a community or as friends or as brothers. that's the times we need to, get behind these people and show them the way. But Karim, he did the main character of the story. He did turn away from everyone, and he turned away from God, which is what led him to the situation he's in. So the first angel took him to his past, and the second angel then takes him to the present. In the present, basically, it shows him that he's alone and miserable. He's basically shunned by his community and abandoned by his great love, her name was Maryam. And in this part here, we see that, what he's doing to his community, how he's ruining his community. He's a very important man in this community. He owns the only factory, the only economic revenue to the people. He owns that. And unfortunately, he's just a distant stranger to the rest of the community. He's just this miser, this angry man who just doesn't care about no one. He's got no more love left in him. And the last angel, which is the angel of the future, he takes him to basically a scene where he's watching his own death, and he watches his own funeral taking part. And this is a shocking scene for Karim. He's watching his own death. He ends up in the grave, etc. And I guess the miracle of Ramadan is, will this man change and turn into the man he has the potential to become, or will he remain in this, darkness, alone, away from God, away from all the people? At the end of the day, that's the story. And, I really believe the read of this story is a great read. It's only a 120-page book, so you can read it in a couple of nights during Ramadan. But I really, really think this book has the potential to, open the hearts and you really enjoy it. Plus, the goal is to take this all the way to, my goal is to take it all the way to the movies and turn it into a blockbuster. And I think it can happen, inshallah, with Allah's help, of course, and with the community behind me, which they already are. I think we can go all the way with this.
100%. And like I've read the book, so I can comment for myself. I actually went on the journey. So I was sitting down and was in a public place, and a guy was kicking me out. He goes, "Mate, I've got to go." And I'm like, "Oh, fair enough." Like, I just actually got emotionally attached to the story. And that's when you know that it's a journey that's worth reading. And I felt every emotion of it. Like I said, I know it was a novel. I got attached to the characters. And then I kind of understood what the author, it's like I was speaking to you in a way, because I felt that I understood the picture that you're painting and the characters that were there and what they stood for. Talk to us about that, because you've developed in the novel a lot of characters that have a lot more meaning, just being characters in the book. Did you get inspiration from your life, from people who have touched you and encapsulated their meanings and their essence in the book?
Of course, like at the end of the day, the best stories are the stories of redemption, the stories of someone who changes his way, who has a change in his life. And they're my favorite type of books, my favorite type of movies when I see that. So this book is absolutely about that, but we don't know if he changes or not, but don't want to wreck it too much. But yes, this story is all about that. And, we never give up. Like, no matter what situation we're in life, no matter what sin we've done, no matter what, who's passed away, no matter how bad we're in a situation, we should always remember God is there for us if we turn to him, and he will always, as it says in Dua Kumail in the Quran and all these things, he's always there for us. He is our light in the darkness. He is the one that is going to take us away from the middle of the ocean back to shore. We just have to ask for him, and he will deliver every single time, So, and some people do things and they think that God will never forgive them, God will never help them, whatever it is. He is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. He is the most merciful, the most beneficent. We believe he's always there for us, and we just got to turn to him, and that's what this book's about.
Most definitely. And even if we're looking at the greatest sins in Islam, and I'll go off say it's Sistani, the greatest sin is doubting the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Saying something like, I am going to hell, or giving up in an essence, is basically saying that God doesn't have the ability to put you into heaven or to alter your life. That's the greatest sins. And if you look at adultery and drug dealing and everything else, they're much lower on the sin count than undermining the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So saying that and giving up on yourself or saying such, because I know a lot of people, it's a phrase in a lot of songs and a lot of kids say it basically where they're giving up. And I'm like, listen, firstly, the music is haram. You shouldn't be singing. And secondly, you are actually falling into the greatest sin by saying such a phrase that I'm going to hell, because here you are undermining the greatest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's attribute is, like you mentioned, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, someone who, الذي يكون لشيء كن فيكون, be and it will be. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is closer to us than our jugular vein. So we're here trying to rewrite history and we're basically being satanic. And that's something that's encapsulated by the book, never to give up. And the book uses that, and the author, which is yourself, you use the holy month of Ramadan as that means to not give up and to come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because as I said earlier, it's greater than 1,000 months, equates to 84 years. And in the context of turning, what's the average lifespan now? 60, 65? You got 84 years on the line. And the book's coming out in Shahr Ramadan. Talk to us, mate. When's it coming out? When's the reveal?
Look, right now, so we're just waiting for the last of the pictures. So they came today, and wow, they're just like, as you can see from the back here, that's just the cover. But the pictures inside the book, after you read a chapter, just one, there's 5 pictures only in the book because there's works of art like this picture here. But yeah, she just finished today. So we sent it straight to the publishers, and inshallah, we'll have it ready in the first couple of days of Ramadan. Yeah, we'll be taking pre-orders and things like that. It's also going to be available in all the major bookstores online. So like you're looking at all the major bookstores around the world, it will be, on there, which is, like when the publisher was sending me emails with who's selling it and on what websites and stuff like that, I'll be honest, it was probably one of the more emotional times that I've had. I thought this was just a little project, and all of a sudden it's being sold on, the biggest bookshops and Amazon books, Amazon and Amazon bookstore and, Big W bookstore and all these places. Wow. What a dream. We also set up a website where you can buy it off and all the different, online bookstores. It's going to be on there. So I can't believe it.
God bless you, man. Honestly, it's so inspiring to see that the success and your intentions manifested itself. It reminds me of a story when we're thinking about the context of life. When Nabi Adam was in the heavens and came onto earth because of the test, because he had the bite of the apple, which was something a bit like a initiation or an induction for us all to see how the arms of life work, basically. So from that lesson, we find that Satan now lives to eternity, and he has the ability to whisper or maybe make something more beautiful, sin look better than what it should be. So Adam asks, oh Allah, you've given him this. Now, what are we getting as Bani Adam, the creation of Adam? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him that if you guys repent at any time, I'll erase this in this lifetime. And also he said, oh, if you have an intention, I'll reward you. And if your intention's pure enough, I'll times the reward by 10 and I'll manifest it for you. So it seems like in this book project, your intention was pure enough that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yassar al-amur, where he opened the path for you in ways that you never expected. And now you're telling me Booktopia, Big W, all the big branches where they're selling books are going to have the book that you wrote. And it's a proud moment to have, and you should have that. And, it's great. Honestly, the greatest of achievements. God bless you.
Alhamdulillah. What can I say? It's all from God, nothing from me. One of the boys in the area, Bilal Musa, he cuts my hair. And I used to tell him all the time the ideas I was having. At the beginning, he was we're best of mates. So he was laughing at me. And then halfway through, he said, hey, do you think God's giving you these ideas? I go, of course. Where am I getting them from? Where else, alhamdulillah. Like he said it as a joke, he goes, where are you getting these ideas from? Since when have you been a writer? And I just, it was a very funny, funny moment there.
No, it's crazy, bro. Because it's real. Because Imam Sadiq alayhi salam has a hadith saying that knowledge is divine inspiration by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For you to qualify for it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has to bless you for that. And a lot of things, especially that you said earlier, resonates with myself. You said that you reached out to the great publishers, you reached out to people to put the great artwork that will be on display in the book, that is in the background today. And that's a testament to yourself, because you do know there's a hadith from the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, that says, if you, in paraphrasing, because I don't have it in front of me, If you don't go out to seek these knowledge from such people or to have that help, you're forever going to be in a state of ignorance. And a lot of people's pride or a lot of people's something about their entitlement stops them from doing such things. And you're never going to reach greatness if you don't put yourself out there, if you're not mixing with other people from other walks of life, because you grow from such interactions. Talk to us about the biggest lessons and the growth that you've had from interacting ever since you embarked on this journey.
Yeah, well, you know, one of the stories I love to hear is Good Will Hunting, the movie Good Will Hunting. It was made by Ben Affleck and Matt Damon when they were young lads. I think just after high school, in high school or whatever it is, they wrote the book. They were just friends, and the next thing, this book became an international movie, and they won an Oscar for it, and blah blah blah. And I'll tell you what, those boys didn't have any fear. They wrote their book and they believed in it, and they, you know, got Robin Williams. He acted in it, and next thing, it was an Oscar winner. And it's a beautiful story for anyone who hasn't watched it, etc. And you know what? When I was writing this, I honestly said, why can't we become the next Matt Damon and the next, not that you want to become famous like that, don't get me wrong. But what I mean is, why can't I turn this book into something that is watched in the cinemas by everyone, by all creeds, by all religions, by all nationalities? Because it's a beautiful story. We watch movies about Christmas, we watch movies about this and that. Sometimes it pops up and we watch it. Why can't they watch the Miracle of Ramadan and learn about how beautiful our religion is and how beautiful the month of Ramadan is, and how in Islam we always believe, we always turn to God and God will forgive, and all these beautiful things. I don't want to wreck the book too much because the stories in there, there's love, there's business, there's every single thing in the book, you know, that anyone would want in a book. There's death, there's wars, there's whatever it is, it's there. But I thought I can do it. You know, I really, you know, once I started getting going, I said I can do it. And the support I had from my family, you know, my wife and kids, my brother Tariq and Husky Akil, who were on the you know, they were reading it along the way, helping me change, giving me ideas and stuff like that. It was an amazing journey. And, you know, my father straight away was telling me, we're going to take it to Lebanon. We're going to put it on TV. I was like, calm down, but yeah, let me write the book. Like he loved it too. Every time I write a chapter, he was just, you know, so excited about it. So, you know, the support helped. But to be honest, you get older, you get a bit more self-belief. What people say, if they laugh at you or they think, what's this stupid idea, or why are you doing that for, doesn't hurt you anymore. You know, you have something to prove to yourself. Try your best, and whatever comes from it because it's from God after that, you know, but you got to give it your all. And yeah, that's what I learned about it, you know, and never be scared to ask people for help or people to guide you in the right direction who know the industry or the area better, whether it's soccer. So like right now, I see a lot of youth from the community, first time, I think in about, you know, maybe 15 years, in my opinion, that a big chunk of kids from our community look like they're going to play in a high level again. You know, like there's a lot of them, not one or two, there's a lot of them, and you're watching them, you know, come through the ranks. They're playing for the best teams, the Sydney Olympics and West Sydney Wanderers and Macarthur Bulls and all these teams. And not just that, they, you know, they've got that thing about them that they're going to make it, and it's beautiful to see. And you know, these boys as well, I know they've gone and got advice from, you know, the legends of our community who are, you know, who made it as well. That was 20, 30 years ago, and those guys, inshallah, are guiding them as well the same way. So yeah,
most definitely. So it's something that in all facets and all walks of life, you have to be in an environment that's uplifting, that's challenging. But you're not the best player in that team or that academy or that area. You have to actually put yourself out there. And you know yourself with football, if you're not at these academies, you're not doing these extra sessions, you're not sleeping and you're stretching, you know, you wear Friday, Saturday nights, you can't be out because you got a game to prepare for. You got to be traveling, you got to be on the road. So there's a lot of sacrifice that comes with it. And being surrounded by great people is going to get you closer to your dreams and goals. And that's something that you did in this book. It's not like you sat down and you told everyone, move away, I'm doing this and it's my way or no way. And you were closed-minded. And yes, this publisher's published 1,000 books, but what does he know? All of a sudden now that entitlement comes and kicks in. You've done the contrary, and it's important, and it's a blessing and testament to yourself. You're getting that story out there and showing, yes, this book looks great, but it was a journey to get there. And there's a lot of nights and a lot of people that I consulted with, and this is the product.
You know, Abbas, one of the most beautiful things was sometimes you hear someone who wrote a book or someone who produced a movie, and they're talking about their movie or book, and they're talking about how they lived it. You know, like every morning they wake up and they live it, and then every night they sleep and they just can't sleep. They're thinking about what they're going to put in their movie or book or whatever. Or you hear actors and stuff like that. I must admit, I never understood what they're talking about. But in this book, when I was writing this book, every single day, it's like, it was all I was thinking about, you know, like, oh my God, what an idea that is. I'll quickly write it down in a notebook and go, you know, put it in the book. And it didn't stop for 6-7 months of just doing that over and over and over again until, you know, the final product, which is, you know, being published at the moment. So yeah, being printed at the moment, I should say.
Nah,
Yeah, so
alhamdulillah, honestly, because something that I've got to say, what my favorite part of the book is, yes, Karim has a big story, and it's just, and the book and the narrative is around his journey. But what I liked is how the relationships he has with other characters and how they influence his life and how they may be a part in why you got lost and why the world's, you're against the world, so to say. I love how you did that, because I found a community in one book. And I could resonate with certain characters to see, okay, these are the types of people that I like, and they keep it real. And it's something that everyone will draw something different from. And the credit has to go to yourself, because you captured the story exquisitely. Honestly, I'm not singing your praise. I really enjoyed the book and I got lost in it. And for me, when I get lost in a book and I'm continuously reading and I lose track of time, because if I tell someone I'm finishing in an hour, leave me alone for an hour. If I've gone 2 hours in and the book's finished, then it's a great product.
Thank you, Haj. Thank you. What can I say, Habibi? That means a lot, you know. It makes it all worthwhile, you know. Even if 1 or 2 people love the book, it's a success to me. So alhamdulillah, you know.
Nah, champion, man. Honestly, you're being humble, and that is a testament to the intention. So you really wanted to be creative and get it out there, and it was qurbatan lillah. Talking about that, now talk to us about the audio version. You've developed a relationship with a great man, and he's going to be reading the book for the people that wish to just relax and listen to the story, because it's provided both physically and on audio. Talk to us about that.
So we went to Ziyara a couple of years ago. Me and some of the boys from the area, we went to Ziyara, and we met a man. We didn't know him, to be honest with you, much about him, maybe 1 or 2 videos, but we met a beautiful man by the name of Sayyid Hussein Makki while we were there. And he was giving us the lectures about Islam and spirituality and these sorts of things. And I think everyone on that in our hamle, as they call it, everyone there just fell in love with this man, fell in love with the nur that was in his face and in his speeches and stuff like that. And you know, from there we became friends. In my school that I work at, we're one of the first schools in Australia. We're the first school in the world, really, that implemented in our history curriculum. We learn about different important, significant people. And the first person we look at for the whole term is the life of Rasulullah. And we teach the students for, you know, how many hours would that be? 40 hours or around that time, just about the life of Rasulullah. And who better to look like, and at that same time, who was doing their lectures on the life of Rasulullah? It was Sayyid Hussein Makki. So we became friends with that, and he helped me, you know, put together content. He came online. We were doing a lot of Zoom meetings with the students and with him. And along that way, I saw his popularity grow, and that was no surprise to me. He doesn't do it for popularity, of course. He does it bismillah. But you know, I noticed his popularity growing and growing and growing. And I just asked him randomly, I'm like, Sayyid, would you do the audiobook for me for this? He said, let me read the book. He read it, and you know, he got back to me and he said, brother, this is amazing. He said, you're a bloody genius, man. Sayyid, do you like that? He goes, I like that. Wow. And he said, of course I'll do it. So yeah, he's doing it right now. He's in London, and he's doing it right now. Yeah, that's you know, what a beautiful feeling that is to have him. I look at him like, astaghfirullah, like not a celebrity, but like, I've listened to all his lectures. I love his lectures, and to get him to do that is a big coup for the book, you know.
It's crazy, eh? So it's something that you've embarked on a journey, and now you're attracting people that you've looked up to once upon a time. And it's like,
That's right.
it's nice to rub shoulders with such people because you know that you're growing in life and your circles growing, so to say. But at the same time, you see that everyone's human. They're all the same. Like, for example, when I was a youngster, you mentioned I got Chalk on the podcast. I do talk to him a lot. I do his head. But growing up, mundane was the thing, man. Wednesday night pay-per-view.
Same here.
If I could buy the pay-per-view, if someone invited me to their house, I cut my fringe like Chalk. I acted like Chalk. I was going to school bragging if you won. If you lost, I was very sad. To have him on the podcast in that relationship, yeah, that was my hero. But he's a normal bloke. He's like me, he had journeys, he had struggles and tribulations. And you're like, okay, so I'm not the only one going through that. Okay, so I can now be a better version of myself. And it's cool to have, because then now you know that your next book or your next project, you don't doubt yourself as much, because you've had these interactions and you're like, we're similar.
Yeah, 100%. You know, like all the ideas that were put into my head for this book, I don't know if there's ever going to be another book, because everything came out in one hit. Maybe I'll be a one-hit wonder, but whatever it is, you know. Maybe I'll start soon another book, who knows. But in regards to Chuck Mundine and these sorts of guys, you know, I was the same, Abbas, and that's why I commented straight away that you had him on your program, you know, because that was, to me, growing up, he was one of the guys that I used to love to watch, and I was a Dragons fan. I had number 6 on my jersey, and yeah, so there you go.
Nah, alhamdulillah, honestly, it just means that you're doing great things. Look, my 2 cents is you've done the miracle of Shahr Ramadan. There's a lot more months in the Islamic calendar nobody knows ain't anything about. And we're in a great month now. A month before that passes just as great. Mate, you've got a lot of projects to do. And if we get these out there, because something with our community, right? And this was my intention for the podcast. I felt that we got a lot of bad news out there. I wanted to focus on the great stuff, because that's what should have the headlines. This is what people should be talking about. We shouldn't be, if you got I love the analogy of the white paper. There's a black dot. Everyone talks about the black dot, but the paper's white. It's not even 0.1%. So yourself and every successful person that does great things, it's an honor and privilege to cover it on the podcast and to be a part of it, because this is what we should be talking about. This is what we should be doing. And that's something that our community gets behind. And we need to make sure that your news is the headline news, and we keep it headline. And it's no shame that we are going to advertise everywhere this great book, because it is coming out soon. It is a great read. It is a must have. And it's something that might change your life forever, because you might perceive the miracle of Shahr Ramadan to be for Karim, and it ends up being your life changer. It ends up being the catalyst of change for you. And then, and it honestly will be, because a lot of people will see it. And when I was reading it, it did have a lot of a Christmassy vibe. Then I asked myself, Shahr Ramadan is greater than Christmas. Why hasn't this been capitulated by anyone? And that's a credit to yourself. And alhamdulillah for all your success. And inshallah, it exceeds all your expectation. Because if everyone can believe, like how we know, because we've both read the book, you got to read the book. So if you read the book, you know what we're talking about. You now benefit from every Shahr Ramadan that comes immensely.
Inshallah. Yeah, inshallah. You know, what can I say? I'm pretty humbled by your words, Abbas. Thank you so much, Habibi. That means a lot. I hope everyone enjoys the book. And if you don't, I tried my best. But I think overall, the simple yet deep and, deep message will be loved by all. I can't see anyone that wouldn't love it,
So talk to us about the launch ideas. How are we going to do this launch? Because I feel this launch has to be everywhere. You got to make sure the book is out there. And if you want, man, I'll get the microphone and I'll talk whatever you want me to talk, because this is something that I feel that we can't limit, because the people need to know, and the people need to get a copy of it.
Yeah, of course, it will be sold in the 2 local bookshops in our area, as well as which is the Mubarat and Community Care, as well as many other bookshops around Sydney, hopefully in the Kemba, Auburn, and all these areas. They'll be putting in there as well. So they'll be in those bookshops, and of course online. I mean, online these days, your bookstores are, there's not many of them anymore. So online is where they'll be available, and I'll make all that known to everyone online very soon. with, hopefully you will too. And the launch, we're going to do a launch at my school. So they've basically sold out. It's already, it's going to be one of the nights in Ramadan. Of course, lots of students, past and present, are all excited about this. And, I'm still thinking of ways in our area, the Uncliffe Rockdale area to, promote this book as well. But I know, alhamdulillah, my own area, I don't need any, I know they'll get behind me because, I'm a Mincon, we're all together. And from what we've done, I don't want to push it too much there because I know they'll get behind me. And for the rest of the world, the rest of the country, it's going to be done online, and, people will be interested to read this book.
May God bless. Inshallah, honestly, man, it's a privilege and an honor. And on our relationship is something that's over time, like recent history, it's somewhere where I got to know you a bit more, and seeing your work and seeing you as an educator. We've crossed paths a couple of times. It's honestly a pleasure to see you do so well. And I'm going to have to mention this because my knowledge of you comes from Allah Yarhama, your mother, who was my teacher. And that's the only link that we had once upon a time until I sat with your father not long ago. It was by mistake. I don't know if he recalls me. I had a chat with him and he liked me. He's like, I'm going to open you the Coronation Hall, but you're going to have a chat with the people. I'm like, nah, I'll do a podcast. And then I got the chat with him, and God bless your family. It's something that's inspiring because especially your mother, Allah Yarhama, the last time I saw her, she was with your sister. And they used to go to at the plaza. They used to do a shop maybe once a week, and the Boost. And she called me, and because our relationship was, I reminded her about you because when I was at school, all I did was soccer. And everything, if you found me anywhere, I was playing soccer before or after school. And everything I ever spoke about was football and sports. It's by no chance I became a podcast host. I was talking of AJP when I was at school. It used to be Abba J's promotion. So I thought I was like Floyd Mayweather back then because Floyd Mayweather had TMT. So I always had that vibe where I respected my elders a lot, and they thought I was a bit of a larrikin. And then I always knew I'd like you because God bless you. If you come from your mother and your father, it's a testament, and I'm sure she'd be proud of you. We're all proud of you. And this is a great initiative. We all have to support it. The Miracle of Ramadan by the great author Haj Wassim Hijazi. Last message for all the people. What do you want them to capture from this podcast? Take out, because we're going to be doing a lot more vlogs. I'll be at the launch at Belford. We're going to do a vlog. I'm going to pump this book so much because I like this book. When I believe in a product, when I believe in something, I'm all in or nothing. And everyone knows me. Whoever tunes in, they know how passionate I get. Final message for the people, brother.
I guess the final message would be, I never thought that I'd write a book, before this. So never let anyone tell you can't do something, whether it be sport. The other day I was at Naji's. I was sitting with, I'll get off topic here. We were sitting with a couple of young boys, and they were 15-year-olds or 16-year-olds. And you had some older guys telling them, you're not playing first grade yet, then you're not a chance of making it. I heard this. I was like, boys, you never stop. You guys are doing really well. Be proud of yourself. They're playing at a high level. And these sorts of words, never let them affect you. Never let anyone tell you you can't do anything, because you know what? It's only God that will let you do something. Put your faith in God, pray your prayers and ask him for help, and he'll help you along the way. And inshallah, you guys enjoy the book, guys. It's going to be available in, 10 days time or whatever it is, 2 weeks time. And I know you will, inshallah. Thank you all for supporting me through this journey. And inshallah, Hollywood, next year we come, or whatever it is, Bollywood or whatever it ends up in, That's the goal.
God bless you. Honestly, I've taken a lot of inspiration from this podcast, guys. The Miracle of Shahr Ramadan is one not to be missed. It's capsulated in this book. It is a must-have to read to your kids, your youngsters. Reading is very important. If we look at the verses of all the Abrahamic faiths, the first to come was always read. In the religion of Islam was Iqra, read in the name of your Lord who created you. Reading and intellect is the greatest things that Karim Bani Adam. وَخَلَقْنَاكُم مِّنْ أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. We created you from the best of beings is intellect. Because if you look at the crocodiles and the lions, they're a bit more, they attack and they're a bit more stronger than us. But what differentiates man from animal and man from the angels that are in this book is intellect. So actualize that, guys. It is a pleasure and an honor to have the brother, the Hajj, who has done so much for the community and will continue to do so. support him in this book release. He's a very humble man. Thanks for watching. He is the author. I don't know, maybe the hype man.